I remember like saying, I'm going to get him back. Like I will. And my friends who saw me go through this epic breakup, I still remember one of them being like, but does he want you back? I'm like, yeah, he just doesn't know it yet. It's crazy for me to even think of this now, but literally right around the time I got that feeling, he called me. I sat down and I wrote a letter to the universe. And here is the secret that I feel is very potent to manifest your SP. Now, having a man where I feel safe enough to open up to receive, and when I shifted careers, he had my back financially and emotionally. And that is something I had never experienced in my life. And that is the beauty of also letting things stay a little open as you're manifesting your SP. You manifested this video for a specific reason. No pun intended, because we are manifesting our SPs. What I mean by this is that there is a perspective I want to offer you that I hear no one else on the internet sharing, perhaps because they want to tell you what you want to hear, and I will in part tell you what you want to hear, and I'll just offer you a slight perspective that I believe is the key to truly manifesting that SP, that everlasting love that fuels you, that allows you to experience what your soul is actually meant to experience on this earth. So I'm going to share about like the basic techniques. That's what we're going to start with, the basic techniques of how to manifest your SP. I'm going to share with you how I manifested this one time my ex back. Everyone thought I was crazy, that it would not happen. It did happen. And I'm going to share with you after that how I manifested my husband, who is very much my SP to the T, and probably beyond what I even imagined at the time when I set out to manifest him. Before we get going, hi, my name is Atena, and on this channel, we learn to love ourselves unconditionally, and we manifest our dream realities. So if that is something you're interested in, you should consider subscribing. I'm going to start with you with this quote that I saw on Instagram because it pretty much summarizes how you should always be manifesting love. Whatever you chase will run away from you. You attract the right things when you know who you are. You seek wholeness, less effort, more flow. When you are wanting to manifest your SP, the most important thing is that you feel good. You feel like, even if, let's say you don't feel good about like yourself in a situation of love, let's say you've had bad relationships or you have different programmings, but like you can still choose to feel good by doing things like pampering yourself, by working out, by speaking kindly to yourself. Like that self-talk is real. Asking yourself positive, powerful questions. This is actually subject for a whole other video, but like just know that if you're ever wondering how can I improve my mindset and be more pleasant and happy in life, ask yourself better questions like, hey, why do I look so good today? What can I do to make myself feel good today? What do I want to do today? When you ask yourself these positive questions, like your brain is a goal-seeking machine. It's going to seek positive answers for you. So if you keep asking yourself, oh, why do I have such bad luck in love? Oh, why do I look like this? Oh, why do I feel like that? Your brain's gonna be like, oh yeah, you have bad luck in love. Let me go find some evidence for you. Let's just scan reality to make sure that we back that shit up. You want to just stop that. Stop it right away. Stop that today. Start loving yourself today. And those, like just that in itself, like allowing yourself to feel how freaking amazing and fantastic you are. Because if you need someone to tell you, I'm here to tell you. I don't care who you are, what your life circumstances is, where you're at in the world. You as a human being, there's a 400 to trillion one odds that you were born. You are special, you are unique, and perhaps you are needing to shine that quarter or whatever, like maybe you're a little rough around the edges for some things, but you are worthy simply for being. And that is something that you got to live by and remember all the time. You might forget sometimes, but you got to make it a habit to remember all the time. And in fact, I'm going to link a meditation for you below where literally, if you listen to this for 21 days, it's going to rewire your brain to remember how amazing and unique you are. And as you do that, like put yourself in places that you feel good. Like if you don't feel good going to the bar to meet someone, or that's just not a vibe, like find a place where you do feel good. Like maybe it's more coffee shops, maybe it's more restaurants. Do things that put you in the driver's seat of like, I'm a fantastic human being and I'm a catch. Like I'm amazing. And sometimes like it's just even taking yourself out on little dates. Like I remember when I was single and really in this place of knowing that I'm about to manifest my husband, I would sometimes stay home on Saturday night. I would order myself pizza, or back when I was drinking, get myself a really good bottle of red wine and like read a good book, light some candles, make it a vibe. Remember that I'm amazing and you are amazing, and you got to get yourself into that vibration. People love what they can feel is a confident human. When you get into a place of desperate energy, or like just figuring out like, oh, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? You're not attractive, right? Okay, this is maybe an odd example, but imagine you're going to a store to buy clothes and the salesperson gets a commission, right? And you can feel their lingering desperate energy. Like they're looking at you. Oh, well, let me get to this for you. Oh, let me do that for you. Oh, let me do this. You're like, dude, get away. I thought of buying stuff, but now your energy has repulsed me because I can feel, I can smell your desperation. It's not a vibe. When you walk into a place and you know there are going to be men or women, I don't know which spectrum you're falling on. I don't know what's the normal thing to say anymore. But you walk tall, you walk with confidence. If you need to give yourself a hypnotic pep talk before, do that. If you need to go to the bathroom to talk yourself up, do that. And sometimes it will feel a little forced, because if you're not used to walking tall, shoulders down, head held well, and like smiling and feeling natural, like you might be a little in your head. That's okay. That's totally okay. Keep saying positive affirmations, ask yourself positive questions, and literally boost yourself up. Okay? So the more you boost yourself up with self-love practices. So self-love meditations. Again, I'm going to link one below that's really powerful. Speak to yourself in the morning with self-love. Do things like that make you feel tender and loved and cared and seen, because the more you attune your vibration to the energy of love, the more magnetic you become, the more you open up your heart. And sometimes you may need to do some inner child healing, like whatever you feel intuitively called to do, because I can list you a whole lot of things. And in fact, I'll list a couple of videos below and you can go ahead and dabble and see, hey, which one do I intuitively feel is the thing that my heart needs right now? But the more you do that, the more you melt those walls down from your heart, you become more magnetic. Your heart, scientifically, is 5,000 times more magnetic than your mind. So you may send out thought vibrations, but know that your heart is literally the thing that attracts that love. This is science. And even in an esoteric way, like think about it, your heart is intelligent. It has the clues. I don't know if you've ever heard of people who have heart transplants and they literally have memories of the other person's through their heart. So your heart is wise. Your mind may have all that negative chit chatter or like doubts here and there. But if you make it a point to feel self-love, to allow your heart to lead the way, you will scan, filter, and alter reality in your favor. And that is a huge hack that I feel like sometimes people brush over, because we all want to work with the mind and the mind is powerful, but it does not compare to the power of your heart. So do those things. Make it a habit to have date nights with yourself. Make it a habit to meditate to your inner child, to love yourself, and to speak to yourself with massive kindness. And again, if you have a hard time speaking to yourself with kindness, just flip the self-talk into positive questions. That is the fastest hack that I could give you without going through like years of therapy. Just ask positive questions. Why am I so amazing? Why am I so fantastic? Why am I so lovable? Why does everyone who I want me? I swear, like just just try this, okay? It might feel weird at first, but the more you do it, the better it gets, and the better it gets, the easier it gets, and the easier it gets, the more habitual it gets, and the more habitual it gets, it just becomes who you are. Wow, that was a mouthful. I want to tell you how I manifested. First, I'm going to tell you how I manifested my ex back, because that's a whole thing. Everyone thought I was crazy. And then I want to switch into how I manifested my husband, where that's going to be the main technique that I personally will recommend to you. So back in my 20s, I met this man when I was doing an academic exchange in Buenos Aires. We had this love story that is literally for the books. It could be a romance novel. It was crazy. We were just like together. And, you know, we were both on an academic exchange. I lived in Canada. He lived in Switzerland. So we were off to a bit of a rocky start, but we were so devoted to each other. Like, we really loved each other. There were, though, many red flags that I ignored. And when I say red flags, I mean that he was very self-centered, and that's fine. Like, that's who he is. There was a lot of drama, and I don't want to blame him because I was also very toxic myself. But there's a moment where my body was like, are you sure you want to be in this relationship? Like, I lost a patch of hair, and I'm originally Persian. Like, I have a lot of hair. Okay. So when I had a bald spot. I had 2 bald spots throughout our relationship. Those were kind of red flags that I ignored. I also had my eye twitched for 6 months from the stress, and that, I don't know if it's him or the fact that we were doing long distance, but I just want to like put those things out there, because when you have these physical manifestations of like feeling ill and your body like reacting to a relationship, pay attention. I did not, though, so I'm not judging you if you don't, okay? And basically what happened, I'm like, long story short, we did the back and forth. I went to live there for a while, and then he did eventually, like 2.5 years into the relationship, he cheated on me, and it was devastating. He left me for another woman, and in that moment, I really felt like my life was about to end. I remember hyperventilating and just feeling like, I don't think I'll ever bounce back from this, okay? And it was so hard. And I remember going to therapy, learning how to forgive, because I literally didn't want that energy in my life. And at some point, I went into this delusion of, I'm going to get him back. And we talk a lot about delusion in this channel. And I just want to say, not that I'm judging my past self, but that was maybe more of a negative delusion than a positive delusion. I remember like saying, I'm going to get him back. Like, I will. And my friends who saw me go through this epic breakup, I still remember one of them being like, but does he want you back? I'm like, yeah, he just doesn't know it yet. Again, I'm laughing because I'm like, I have so much love for my past self. And so what I did to manifest him back is, I realized at the end that there was a lot of like, I felt really desperate. I felt really awful. So I said, what is it that I know was the thing that ruptured the relationship? He had said things like, for example, I had gained weight. I wasn't earning as much money as he thought I should be. I think of this now and I'm just like, a guy says this to you, literally want to tell you, dump him immediately. But again, I'm not here to tell you. I'm just here to tell you how I did it. I just remember him also saying like, what I'm doing is not smart enough as a career and stuff. So I literally had this mission of, I'm going to become his dream woman, and he's going to regret the day he ever left me. Some of that is positive, some of that is negative, okay? Because we always want to improve, but it was more of I'm proving myself from a place of I don't feel good enough. I was not doing self-love meditations or any of that shit at that point, okay? So that's what I did. I got into epic shape. I manifested a career path that was, you cannot tell me I'm not smart. I was doing consulting work for the World Bank and all of that stuff. Like, I was like, I am a very important person. I'm laughing again. You gotta laugh a little. You gotta love like the mindsets that you go into. I started making a lot of money. I had great friendships. I had a healthy dating life. And I remember the day where I clicked, I've achieved this goal. And it's crazy for me to even think of this now, but literally right around the time I got that feeling, and that feeling could have come a lot earlier, by the way. I made myself jump through some hoops. So that wasn't necessary, but I did. Anyways, he called me and he was devastated. He was like, the relationship I left you for is not working out. Leaving you is the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. I'm not gonna lie, that was very validating to hear, and on and on. And the funny thing is that if you think about that moment, I just changed my energy. I changed it through action. You don't have to change yourself through action, but that's what I needed to rewire my mindset, to rewire my energy. But the thing is that at that point, I had jumped through so many hoops that I did literally feel like a fantastic person. And I worked hard at it. And I was like, something about him coming back to me was no longer attractive. I was like, I don't think I want to put myself through this, because he hadn't changed. I had. So in this ironic way of manifesting him back by becoming the woman of his dreams, I was like, I'm too good for you. Bye. I was like, okay, let's just be friends. I don't want to go through this craziness. And then that's the moment where I also had this spiritual awakening. I'm like, I'm here. I did all of this to get this guy back. I got this guy back, but like, is this where I want to be? And that's when my Saturn return, for those of you who don't know, like around the end of your 20s, early 30s, you go through this period of questioning your life. They call it the Saturn return because the planet of Saturn comes back to the same original spot of when you were born. And I was like, I don't know if this is what I want in my life. And a lot of other things happened that I won't get into because it's not relevant to this video, but I really started to question life. What do I want out of life? Who do I want to be? And I went through this 6-month basically transformation journey. I did, again, more therapy, and this time I got really involved with inner child healing, self-love practices. I completely changed my morning routine. I had never had a morning routine until then. I completely changed something I never had. I implemented a morning routine, started gratitude journaling, and really set the foundation for who I am today. And when I felt I was in a place of genuinely loving myself and feeling worthy of life, I sat down and I wrote a letter to the universe. And here is the secret that I feel is very potent to manifest your SP. Now, you can get as specific as you want, but know that the more specific you get, the less the universe can bring you what you actually need and bring you someone who is potentially not even a consideration of who you are becoming. Okay, in case that doesn't make sense. You in this present day moment have a clear idea of potentially of the love that you deserve. Perhaps you want someone who loves you. I hope when you're manifesting your SP, it's someone who loves you, someone who listens to you, someone who you share some common values with, some activities. You're physically attracted to each other. You have a great, healthy sexual life. You go on adventures. Like, you have these ideas, right? And if not, like, write that list down of like, what are some of the things that I desire in my SP? But you also don't know who you're going to become in like 10, 20, 30 years. I think of who I was in my early 20s. I'm a complete different human today. Like, I'm almost 40. I'm a complete different person. And it's like, I had that feeling when I was writing the letter. So one of the things that I put into the letter is I didn't put his height, his age, his looks. I did put that we are sexually attracted to each other, because that's important for me, that we do have a chemistry. Like, that was like, I was like, whatever that is. And I'm one of those people, like, I don't have a type. Like, if you look at the history of my exes, I don't have a type. Maybe you do have a type, all over the place. Like, one is blonde with blue eyes, the other one's mulatto with dreads. I don't have a type, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. So maybe you do, but try to get as unspecific about that as possible, but put down the feelings. How do you feel with this person? What are some of the things that you share? Some ambitions in life. I also put that we are different people. We're two wholes coming together. He's not my better half. He's He's not completing me. We're actually different. And he actually challenges me, because it's so funny, because one of my friends just did a video about pheromones and like how we get attracted to smells. And we are naturally sometimes, actually often, attracted to our opposites, because when we have someone who thinks differently than us and is different than us in many ways, we have a better chance at evolution. I'm going to link her video below because I found it fascinating, because I intuitively did this without knowing the science behind it. But I put those things, and I put down also, and here's another key. I put down, who do I get to be in this relationship? So many times when we are manifesting our SP, we're manifesting love into our lives with a partner, we are so focused on who that person has to be, all the qualities that they have to have. And that's a powerful place to operate from. But also, who do you get to be? Like, do you get to contribute to the relationship? Do you get to evolve? And do you two choose to evolve together? And like, that's something I put into that letter, into the universe. I folded the letter, I put it away, and then I just followed my intuition. That's all I did. Because manifesting your SP will really come down to following your intuition, your wisdom. And that's something that, again, not many people talk about. You are wise. You know. Like, I'm going like this. You know. Your heart knows. It will literally pick up on the clues for you. And all you got to do once you get clarity on your SP is follow that intuition. And sometimes break the rules if you feel called to. So it's so funny, because I started this with saying don't chase and allow people to come to you. But when I did meet my husband that night, we met at the restaurant. We had some common friends. We were all in the restaurant. We started walking together. We had a great night together, and I could feel he wasn't going to ask for my number. And it's really not like me to be like this, but something said, Atena, make that step. So I took his phone. I said, I'm going to give you my number. We should hang out. And I put my number, and I said he can do the rest. And he did do the rest, and he did it very well. And something that I will share with you is that because I was specific about who I wanted to be and how I wanted to feel and evolve in the relationship, and not be so specific on exactly the specific individual, the universe, and I believe God, actually, I'm going to use the word God because back then I used universe, but God really brought me my soulmate, who I'm genuinely meant to be with. And there are things that I would have never even thought of asking that came to me. In my letter, I wrote, I love to be spoiled with gifts, because at that point I realized I really like to get gifts, okay? Ain't no shame in the game, girls. You want to get gifts, you write that shit down. But here's what, at that point, I'll tell you honestly, I was also hyper independent woman because of like some things that had happened with that ex of mine who made me feel like inferior. I was like, I'm a badass woman. I make my own money. I take care of myself. And that was really like, that was important. Like, I let men pay for me in restaurants and stuff, but like when it came to like my personal well-being, I made sure the universe gave me a man who softened my heart and allowed me to truly step into my feminine energy, which is that of receivership. Women, we are meant to receive. And once upon a time, I would have thought that's anti-feminist, but today I don't think that at all. We are meant to have different roles in the relationship. And for me to feel safe to receive gifts on a higher caliber, even like before, when I wrote, I want to receive gifts, it was more like, oh, I would love to receive little gifts, right? And then when my husband took me on our honeymoon it was a 5-month honeymoon. So that's a big gift. Having a man where I feel safe enough to open up to receive. And when I shifted careers, he had my back financially and emotionally. And that is something I had never experienced in my life. And that is the beauty of also letting things stay a little open as you're manifesting your SP. What if there are things that at the moment that you are now, you are not even contemplating, but when you give the universe or you speak with God and you say, I desire a love that is truly meant for me, my unique self with my soul essence, allow that love to come to you in whatever shape or form it is. I feel like this is the thing that no one says to you. You can go and manifest whoever you want. Honestly, you can get as specific as they come. Like I manifested my ex back and everyone thought I was crazy. It wasn't going to happen. I think of it now, what a tragedy if I had stayed there. Because I can't even compare those two relationships. And I literally thought my ex was my person. I really did. I thought that was it. I thought my life was over when it was over with him. And it's like, we try to control so many things in this life. And again, I want to tell you, you can literally manifest whoever you want. You want it to be your next door neighbor? Get into the vibes, get into your feels, know that he's coming to you. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But I'm here to shift your perspective, or offer you at least a perspective piece, that what a tragedy to try to control something that you miss the epicness that you are destined for. I'm just going to leave that there with you. I'm sending you so much love. Drop any questions that you have. I would love to do any follow-up videos. And until next video, I'm sending you so much love.